In this lesson, we are going to look on bank reconciliation statements involving a bank draft or a credit balance on the cash book. Therefore, a bank reconciliation may be tricky if the balances are negative, which means if we have a credit balance on the cash book account, which is the bank columns. So you reach the correct answer by doing the opposite, like we did in the last lesson. When the when the cash book balance was positive, we were saying balances per cash book, add unpresented checks, then less bank lodgements not credited. So in this case, if this bank overdraft, we do the opposite to save time in the exam. Let's look at this question. This was tested by ZIMSEC. You can see that there's the cash book bank columns. You can see here purchases, it cancels ZISA, insurance purchases. Then here we have people who deposited into the bank account. So we want to prepare a bank reconciliation statement. So like we said in the last two lessons, that we must first identify unpresented checks and bank lodgements which are yet to be credited in the bank statement. But the first step when preparing the bank reconciliation statement is to update the cash book. So in this case, let's first update the cash book. Let's see what is not debited or credited in the cash book. So on the credit side, which correspond to the debit side, you can see that 450 was recorded, 600 was recorded, then 325 was recorded, 550 is recorded, but this 715 is not recorded in the cash book. So we must debit it in the cash book. Then let's look on the credit side of the cash book and the debit side of the bank balance and compare. You can see that here 2050 is recorded, 1060 or 1600 is recorded, 950 is recorded, but this 800 is missing, this 2500 is missing from the bank statement, right? And from the cash book, in the cash book, what is not recorded in the cash book? Since you want to correct the cash book, we look what is not recorded in the cash book and ignore what is not recorded in the bank statement. So here with these two account, two transaction, 235 for interest on bank loan, then ledger fees 305. So these will be used, these balances which are not checked will be used for updating the cash book. So we use the balances in the bank statement which are not found in the cash book to update the cash book. So in this case, we are going to credit 235 and 305 and then debit 715. So the balance is here. We just add everything here, which is 7,900. Here 7,900 minus 4,300 to find the balance of these transactions. So let's first have the total balances on both sides. Here is 3,600. Here is 7,900. Then we must debit what was credited in the bank account but not debited in the cash book to update it. So this was for dividends 715. Then on the credit side, you have interest on bank overdraft, which is 235. Then ledger fees of 305. Let's balance our accounts. You can see if we add here, it gives 8,440. Here 8,440 minus 3,600 minus 715, it gives us a balance of 4,125. So this is the updated balance of the cash book. So let's use this to prepare a bank reconciliation statement. So in the bank reconciliation statement, we are now looking what is in the cash book but not in the bank statement. So first take the cash book balance. This was an overdraft. Now we are going to do the opposite. First, identify the bank lodgements not credited. Then we will add those. So from this statement, you can see that these which are not in the cash book marked with ink here, these are the credit, these are the bank acknowledgements not credited in the bank statement, so we must add them, and we will later subtract these which are unpresented checks which are credited in the cash account but not debited in the bank statement. So here let's add bank acknowledgements not credited. So we are doing the opposite. This was from Gigara 375. We add. This will give us 4,500. Now we want to subtract the unpresented checks. We are doing the opposite. We have Sesa 800 which was not appearing in the bank statement and purchase 2,500. So a total of 3,300. So we subtract it from 4,500. So our balance is 1,200 overdraft. So we can see that this was the balances by bank statement. So that's how we prepare a bank reconciliation system when we have an overdraft in the cash book balance. So this marks the end of our lesson. Few things to do in exercise. You are required to update the cash book and then draw a bank reconciliation statement.